I just got back from a month-long road trip in the French Alps, and I want to share with you some of the gadgets and useful things I keep in the car to make my ski trips safer and more convenient. Everything I'll share in this video is relatively small and easy to pack and easy to travel with, and they can all be taken through an airport in case you're flying to your destination and then renting a car. And to be honest, all of these things are useful for any kind of road trip, not necessarily a ski trip or a winter trip. So, whether you have a road trip coming up soon or maybe at any time in the future, then I think it's a good idea to just have these items on hand so that you're already prepared. The first thing I make sure to pack is this all-in-one safety device. So, my packing list actually used to be much longer until I discovered this multi-purpose tool that really does it all. In just one single gadget, you have a flashlight, a distress signal, a window breaker, a seatbelt cutter, and a phone charger. And this is also its own power bank, so you can unplug it from your carport and it will continue charging your phone. So this is a helpful emergency tool for any road trip. The next thing I always bring with me is this little phone mount that you can attach to the vent in pretty much any car. Because let's say you're renting a car and you don't know exactly which model you'll get. In my experience, I've always managed to find something on the dash to attach this to. And there's no adhesive, so you won't damage the dash, and you can easily remove it and take it with you when your trip is over. This is super useful because mountain roads are winding, and if you're using your phone's navigation to guide you, then you definitely don't want your phone sliding around all over the place, and it's best to have it fixed. Especially on a ski trip, if you're driving on unfamiliar roads in icy or low visibility conditions, then you definitely need both hands on the wheel. Even if I'm driving in a destination I know well, I still always have the navigation on my phone open so that I can anticipate any upcoming turns, or so I can see any safety alerts or updates. It's just always helpful to have that extra visibility. So the next thing I always bring with me is this compact ice scraper. The size is so convenient, so you can always have it with you. I actually keep this in the pocket of my ski backpack so that I know I'll never forget it. Even if it's not snowing or there's no snow in the forecast, if you're in the mountains or in a valley and the temperature drops with any sort of humidity or moisture in the air, or even if you're just parked in the shade, then ice can form on your windshield or on your mirrors. So having this on hand just makes it really easy to push off any snow or scrape off any ice, and then I can be on my way quickly. And these usually come in packs of 2 or 3, so if I'm meeting up with friends in the mountains, then I usually pass these out and give them away so that everyone has one. The next useful thing that I bring with me on my road trips are these heavy-duty cleaning cloths. I use these to line the bottom of the trunk in my car and also the bottom of my ski bag and my boot bag, just to keep everything clean, or to at least keep any mess to a minimum. Especially on a ski trip when you'll be putting your boots and your shoes in the car, it's very likely that things will be wet or dirty or muddy. So it's important to have cloths like this or similar to this as long as they're washable and durable. And another benefit of these, when I'm packing for a ski trip and I'm taking a plane or a train, then I will use these cloths as padding in my ski bag. So when they're clean, I will wrap them around my skis as added protection. So that leads me to the next item on my list, which is my ski bag and boot bag, which came in a set. I've been using this bag for 5 years now, so it's a little beat up, but they are relatively waterproof and are just super helpful in keeping everything contained when I'm going to and from the mountain. This bag protects my skis, but it also protects my car, or the car I'm renting. So this can help me avoid getting the inside of the car dirty or wet, or from accidentally slicing the upholstery with an edge, and also so nothing is sliding around. And this boot bag that came with it is great because it also fits my helmet in addition to my boots. So it protects my helmet from rolling around in the car or in the trunk while I'm driving, because that can be pretty annoying or distracting. And so the next thing on my list is a mini first aid kit. This one has a lot of the standard stuff inside, but it's compact enough to travel with and keep in your ski bag. It's always useful to have in the car in case of an emergency, but also for less urgent things like you have a blister or a pressure point on your ski boot. Sometimes you can use the supplies in your first aid kit to find some relief or create some padding so that you can be more comfortable while you're skiing. So the next thing I always have with me are these mini carabiners that I attach to my keys. I usually always have one of these on my keychain at all times so I can separate and detach and add things to it quickly. But what makes this especially helpful when I'm on a ski trip is because I don't want to bring my whole cluster of keys with me onto the mountain. So let's say these are my car keys and these are my other everyday keys. Anything that's not necessary while skiing, I can easily detach and leave behind in the car. And then this is much easier and less bulky to put in one of my pockets. And also, depending on your jacket or the types of pockets in your jacket, sometimes you can attach this to a loop or a zipper pull inside of a pocket so that they can be even more secure and that you don't risk losing them. So the last thing I want to talk about are your tires and using snow chains or textile wheel socks. If you can, I always prefer to drive a car with winter tires because I find it to be so much more convenient and therefore safer than having to use chains. If it's not an option for you to put winter tires on your car or to rent a car that has winter tires, then of course snow chains are necessary for a trip to the mountains. And in that case, my advice then is to be overly prepared. And by that, I mean to take the time to practice putting the snow chains on when you're in more agreeable conditions, so that when it comes time to put them on while it's snowing or during a storm, then at least you're already familiar with the experience and the physical process. I suggest watching a tutorial or an instructional video for the exact type of chains that you're using. Sometimes the manufacturer will provide this kind of content, or you can search for it yourself on YouTube. Because having to put on chains in the cold and during a storm can be stressful or dangerous, but you can minimize the stress or the danger as much as you can by being really knowledgeable and capable about how to put them on and how to take them off. And then that brings me to the last thing on my list of items to pack for a ski trip, which is an extra set of gloves, especially if you have to put snow chains on your tires because you will get wet and dirty. And thin gloves like this that are also durable are the best because you need the dexterity to be able to attach and install the chains. These are a washable suede and they've held up for years, so I definitely recommend them. So that's it. Those are all the things I make sure to pack whenever I'm driving to a ski resort or a mountain destination in the winter. And I will link everything in the description below so that you can easily find anything I've mentioned in this video. And if you're curious, I've posted other videos about what I've learned and recommend from my experiences skiing, mostly in Europe, but also in the US. I only got serious about skiing a few years ago, but I've since skied in over 70 stations across 8 countries, most of which I visited on solo road trips. I can also link a map of all the ski destinations I visited, so check that out if you're interested, along with my other videos. Skiing is clearly a passion of mine, but my channel is really about finding new hobbies and learning new things as an adult. And it's about knowing that it's never too late to get started following your dreams and your interests. So if these topics speak to you, then don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time.